welcome back to another sleep training video. I have some awesome tips for you parents out there trying to sleep train your baby and having a hard time. I have been there 3 times, y'all. I am more than qualified to give you some awesome tips on how I sleep trained my baby, and I truly believe it's going to help you do it within a week. Okay, so before we get started, I did want to mention that this is not my first sleep training video. I recently did a step-by-step sleep train with me where I take you along the whole process. And then I made another video on specifically all of the items you absolutely need to sleep train your baby. I'm not even kidding. They are must-haves. So make sure to check those videos out as well. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the very first tip I have for you is just to make sure that your baby's 6 months old. Before 6 months old, your baby's not developmentally ready to soothe himself to sleep or to cry for long periods of time or anything like that. So wait for 6 months and then start sleep training. The next thing that you really want to do is to ensure that you already have a bedtime routine in place so that your baby will take the cues in knowing that, oh, okay, I'm getting a bath, oh, and then I'm getting a book or cuddles or a song, and then it's time to go to bed. If you have repetition in doing all of these things, your baby will already be mentally prepared to go to sleep. Okay, so another thing to remember is make sure that you are not starting the sleep training process if your baby is in any kind of discomfort. If your baby is teething really bad, if he's sick in any way, if he has a really bad diaper rash, those are kind of things that are not going to help you. He's already going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be really that much harder for him to soothe himself to sleep. All right, so now you're ready to get the baby in bed. Now, before you actually get your baby into the bed, you want to make sure that you go through this little checklist first. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the curtains are closed. You got good curtains to keep out all the sunlight. You have a white noise machine that will stay on all night long, and make sure it's really nice and reliable. I use an Echo Dot. I put rain sounds that loop on all night. And y'all, everything I'm talking to you guys right now about, I'm going to leave links down in the description for all of those products. And if you want to see more about all the products I'm using, make sure to check out that other video about the baby product must-haves. Okay, but anyway, so the next thing, make sure you have a wearable blanket. It's so important that your baby does not get cold and uncomfortable. It truly helps him sleep better at night. And also make sure to have a little lovey, something for him to cuddle. It helps him feel more secure. And the last thing is a pacifier with a pacifier clip. Now, you want to make sure that the clip is on there. A lot of times whenever I didn't use a clip in the very beginning, which was a mistake, because he would actually let it fall, or it would just like scoot out. He'd throw it. I mean, he was not happy when we sleep trained, but so it was really hard for him to grab it. So it's really important that it's attached to him so that he could easily grab it, put it back in his mouth, and he's good to go. And all of these tips are going to be based upon the Ferber method, where you let your baby cry it out for periods of time and you go in and routinely check on them. All right, so the very first tip I have for you is to make sure that you have some sort of chart, just like this one, on the time intervals in between the check-ins. So this is what I used whenever I sleep trained Watson. It was highly effective. We got done within 4 days, but this has up to 7 days. So if you really need to go off of it, it's highly important that you are consistent. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that whenever you put your baby to sleep, every single night you say the exact same things, you do the exact same thing. Try to be purposefully repetitive, because it'll help your baby understand, okay, mommy's saying this, that means it's time to go night-night. She's not coming back for this amount of time, but she's still here. What we say is, night-night, baby, mommy loves you, night-night, sweet dreams. And then I pat his tummy, I put the little lovey in his little hand, and then I walk out the door. And that is exactly how I put him to sleep for nap times and for bedtimes. And if he wakes up in the middle of the night after I've waited an X amount of time, I'll go in there, I'll make sure he doesn't have a wet diaper, make sure he's okay, and then I will say the exact same thing to him so that he knows time to go back to sleep. Okay, so let's talk about check-ins. Whenever you are ready to go in and do a check-in, why you're doing this is to make sure that he knows mom and dad are still there. You are not abandoning him. You are not leaving him. You are still there. It's very important that whenever you go in, you are calm, cool, and collected. I know it can be so emotionally exhausting to hear your baby cry, but he has to know that you're okay because he will go off of your body language. So if you look happy, calm, collected, everything's okay, he will know, okay, there's nothing wrong. And whenever you go in there, make sure you're not staying more than 30 seconds to a minute because then he will be even more dependent on you to stay in there to soothe him. And you want to also make sure that you are not trying to put him to sleep. Your goal for the check-ins is to try to let him know that you are there for him, that you're still there, you are going to meet his needs, you know, he's not alone. Now, whenever you go in, you want to make sure that, number one, he doesn't vomit. Some kids will cry so much and start gagging on their, spit or something. Make sure he's not throwing up. Make sure that he didn't poop himself or pee his diaper because a lot of times whenever babies are crying so hard or they're so upset, they will have a dirty diaper. So if that happens, if your baby does end up having a dirty diaper, what you'll want to do is you will want to pick him up and put him on the changing table, change his diaper. But during this whole time, you do not talk to your baby. You don't talk. You have a calm face. You're not smiling at him because you don't want to get him excited. But, just a calm face, just change his diaper, have it done, put him back in the bed, and then say your phrase again. You do not want to overdo it. Don't overstimulate him. Let him know that, okay, dirty diaper, I'll take you out for a minute, put you right back in with no emotional attachment. And then you'll walk right out the door and then wait for the next check-in time. And it's really important to remember that if your baby wakes up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you just go in there and you do the exact same thing like whenever you just started. You want to wait, if it's your first day, you want to wait the 3 minutes and then you go in there and then you do it all over again. You check his diaper, you pat his tummy, you say the phrase, you get out. And you want to make sure that you are very consistent when doing this. And I'm telling you, the first time that your baby falls asleep on his own is going to be like just a sigh of relief that you did it, that it was successful, and you can be rest assured it gets better from there. Now, if your baby is closer to the 6 months of age and he's still eating throughout the night, don't worry. This is a time whenever your baby is physically able to go to sleep throughout the night without eating. And if you are worried and have any kind of anxiety and thinking he might be hungry, well, you can actually slow that down and you can take this process, one less feeding per night. So if he does wake up like at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're worried he might be hungry, it's your first day, well, go ahead and pick your baby up and feed your baby. But make sure, like whenever you change the diaper, there is no talking, no expression on your face. You're not overly cuddling, overly soothing. You're just feeding. And you want to cut this every single night until there's absolutely no more. Now, the last tip I have for you is to just make sure that you are emotionally ready to hear your baby cry. It is very hard. And even if you need to take turns with your loved one, make sure to do that. Y'all take turns. The reason why I like to have the baby monitor is so that I can see if he's crying or not, or I can just hand it to my husband and be like, tell me when he's done crying, or, something like that. So if you need that emotional support, be there for each other, help each other out. I know sometimes it's a lot harder on the mom to hear the baby cry, but just know that it is so important for your baby to learn how to self-soothe. And unfortunately, crying is a part of the process. But just know that everything is just fine with your baby and he will get through this. And this will help him move up a level developmentally. Now, really quick, if you're wondering about nap time, what we did is we sleep trained the first night, and the very next day, we went and we started sleep training nap times. He has 2 naps a day, one at 10:30, one at 3 o'clock. And we did the exact same thing, and it really helped him, I think, throughout the process to understanding, okay, it's nighttime, okay, I gotta go to sleep. It really helps him to stay consistent, because if you are sleep training at night, but you're letting him breastfeed to sleep, rocking to sleep, holding him while he goes to sleep, it's really gonna extend that process and make it that much harder. So make sure that you're also incorporating sleep training nap times along with sleep training at nighttime. Thank you so much for bringing me along this sleep training journey with you. I truly hope that your baby learns how to self-soothe and sleep on their own really soon. And if you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and y'all don't forget to subscribe too, because I have a lot more for you guys coming up soon. And y'all don't forget to watch me sleep train my baby, and make sure to watch that video about all the products you need too. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye y'all.
I shut my